I'm Will Flanagan from Frontier Developments, and you're listening to the Loose Screws podcast. Remember, always keep your fuel tanks full and your O7s poised.
Hey guys, I definitely didn't practice that accent at all. This is June 11th. This is Loose Screws. We're recording tonight in kind of a special, screwy special report. I'm Commander JN Trax, and Ty is away because he bought a fleet carrier and then just left. And honestly, nobody's heard from him or anything. And we're trying to organize a search party. But for now, we're just going to, I guess, go ahead with the podcast. Joining me tonight is going to be our BGS superstar NL Hate. Say hello.
Yo, guys.
And I also asked our friend and semi-regular guest on the show, Commander Dubs, to come here because he's the only one of us who actually owns a fleet carrier, so we'd be able to talk from that perspective. Hello, Dubs.
Hey, guys. What's going on?
Okay, so Ty did not really disappear, and we know exactly where he is. He just had a little impromptu vacation that happened to mean that podcast night got a little mixed up, and that's fine. So this is a little happy birthday party to him. He gets the night off, and he'll be back next week.
Should have just let people think he was missing.
That would have been more lore for story time, I guess, right? We'd be out searching for where Ty's fleet carrier is and whatnot. But yeah, we kind of thought that it would be an important week to not miss at least going over some basic news points. So this probably won't be a really long episode and probably a little bit different than usual, but I'm going to try to go through everything and keep everybody up on the news and make sure nobody is too desperately starved and thirsty for content. So let's do that. And this is not beer this time. This is just sparkling water. Sorry to ruin everyone's bubble. I hope everyone else is having a great time, but I've already had 2 beers today, and I'm feeling like if I'm going to host a podcast and actually need to follow show notes and direct people and stuff like that, I should probably keep myself under control. So that was my thinking anyway.
And we're definitely not drinking scotch with Chig in a different channel right now.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah. Chig gets the night off too. So if Chig is distracting you all from the other channel, then I guess I'll just have to deal with that. Okay, so what all went on this week? The big thing was on Tuesday, so 2 days ago, right? The fleet carrier update landed with a bang. And actually, I kind of felt like it went pretty well as far as the last few updates that I can remember, as far as how quickly the servers kind of came back up and became stable. I think it was relatively smooth. You guys agree?
The second day, it was all right. And on the first day, as long as you weren't trying to actually purchase a fleet carrier or land at one of the many known points of interest on many planet surfaces, then I would consider that all right.
Yeah, I mean, 1 day of fishiness compared to how it's been. I mean, some of the updates this size, like there have been patches that were pretty fine, but there have been updates that knocked things down for multiple days, haven't there?
Oh, yeah.
For sure. So actually, I guess let's go right there then. There was an update that happened on day 2, and it itself had a few little updates. So I pulled up the forum thread here. There were a number of things going on, and I think there are still a couple more, and we'll probably get to talking about some of that. But from Bruce Garrido on yesterday, so Wednesday, some commanders had their missions removed unexpectedly, and this affected commanders undertaking longer missions. They decided to restore missions from before the update to minimize the impact. Basically, their fix causes a little bit of weirdness too, but basically they're trying to make it right. There was some change they made to power play that they had to well, let's see, a server issue meant that commanders were able to unfairly advance their chosen power rapidly. Yeah, so they decided to, so that we've thought carefully about which steps to take next. As such, we've decided to roll back the power play system to undo the effects on the disruption. So the whatever the small change in power play that we talked about that we didn't fully understand has been rolled back. And then the other thing was that the missing POIs, there was a bunch of stuff, including like famous stuff like Dav's Hope and Jameson's crash site that vanished. And so that little update, there was like 30 minutes of server downtime. And then I guess they were supposed to have come back online. And I haven't heard anything to the contrary, so I'm assuming that works. But I'm sure there are still some other little things, and they link to the mission tracker and stuff like that. And there's a few updates here, and you can find that forum post in the show notes. I don't know, thoughts, comments, questions. Are there major bugs that you guys haven't seen addressed yet?
Nothing that's game breaking. The only two bugs that are really a big annoyance to me are the fact that I can hear the carrier background noises at all times, even when just flying around in my ship. And every time I land at a station, it for some reason wants to keep dragging my icon or my cursor back up to the refuel button. But other than that, I think most of the major bugs that I noticed are pretty well done now.
Yeah, I have seen that too. I noticed the weird sounds last night, and not being a fleet carrier owner, I was like, what is this? What am I even hearing? And then, when it seems like when I first land, if I tried to move the cursor too fast or something, it would drag it back. I would get like one drag back, and then after that, I was fine. So kind of strange, but
once or twice isn't really a big deal, but when it just keeps doing it,
yeah. I also noticed I transferred some ships, and I remember in the beta there was this thing where when you did a ship transfer from one station to another, you would get the "your ship has arrived" message immediately. And they were like, they mentioned in the patch notes that they had fixed that for the live release. But it seems like what they fixed was the message does not come, but the audio alert from the message still definitely does, at least to me. Did you guys experience any of that?
I can tell you right now, I'm in the transfer menu.
I don't actually have game audio when I play.
Oh, you're missing out on so much.
I know the sound guys at FDev do a fantastic job with all the sounds. I'm sure fleet carrier owners are getting very acquainted with the fleet carrier background noises. But, I plug my headset into my phone so I can be on Discord while I'm playing on my Xbox. And so I don't have the backfeed going into my phone. I just turn the volume all the way down and I miss everything.
Oh, yeah. You need like a headphone mixer so you can hear both. Or they just need to integrate Discord into Xbox, right? That's the better solution.
I have very strong opinions about that, and I think that's going to be a different topic for a different day.
Oh, are you sure? Okay. Fair enough. Well, sticking with the update then, I was actually planning to ask Chig how excited he was about CQC being added. I have noticed other commanders kind of noticing and getting more involved in that. I shouldn't say added, but being added to queuing right in the comms panel. I've seen talk that it is already a lot more populated than it used to be. So, good, I guess. Have any of you been playing CQC since in the past couple of days?
I haven't touched it. I've been too busy managing this thing, the carrier.
Right.
I've noticed a lot different kinds of traffic on the CQC Discord.
Okay. So that's the popularity showing already over there.
They're not just hailing people trying to get a game. They're trying to coordinate which games they're getting into now.
Oh. Okay. Yeah, that's good. And I could see this. Well, for one thing, like I realized that I've only ever played like the free for all or what's it called?
Deathmatch.
It's just just general deathmatch. And so I've never played the other game modes, and I wonder if there's enough of a population. I wonder if suddenly the other ones could become viable. So, I'm excited for it. It is fun to be able to just drop into a sort of risk-free level playing field. It's not to be discounted. I think it's been long overlooked by a lot of people. So
the pennies that you get paid for winning are also quite nice as well.
Yeah, it would be nice to have a little trickle of arcs in there. It does feel like it was a little bit discouraged and overlooked from that perspective too. I don't personally care about getting any credits for it. That kind of violates the lore for me in the first place, I think. But arcs is outside of the lore, so I think everything we do in the game, as long as we are doing something in the game, ought to earn us arcs, right? So
I think so.
Kind of think that should be included. Let's see. So I'm looking down at what I wrote. Oh, one other thing. Tell me if you guys experienced this. This only happened to me once, but I heard somebody else mention it in general chat last night that when I targeted a fleet carrier as a navigation target, not like a ship target, but a nav target. Upon jumping to Super Cruise, like I later realized that it had changed my nav target.
Constantly. I was getting that constantly last night while we were making the Tritium runs to the carriers. So anytime I entered Super Cruise from the station, it would just target a random fleet carrier. And then whenever I dropped on my fleet carrier or the fleet carrier I was targeting, I would notice that I had another random fleet carrier, as my target. So
yeah, that happened to me. So I think I was on my way to yours actually. And then partway across system, realized that that's not big ol' anime titties. That's some other fleet carrier. So what's did you play in the beta much, Dubs?
I played just enough to find out that I had to sell most of my expensive ships to buy the carrier. So I stopped playing the beta so that I could actually make enough money to buy the carrier without doing that. But I played maybe 2 or 3 days in the beta.
How have you felt? How have you felt like the updates rolled out? Is there anything that stuck out to you or surprised you or wasn't quite the same or impressed you? I mean, tell me what's up, because I've ridden on carriers. I've ridden on your carrier, and we've been doing some deliveries to and from them and stuff. But from the owner's perspective, all I ever did was when the blowout happened, the prices dropped. I just bought everything and then kind of like looked at it for 20 minutes and was like, okay, cool, and that was it for me. So
yeah, the biggest thing I noticed from the beta now is the depositing money to the carrier and taking it out is way faster, way easier, because you can either have the scaled picker or you can actually manually input a number. They did not, however, change the commodity price setting. That still takes a good amount of time to scroll from one end to the other.
Oh.
Other than that, I think most of the stuff from the beta carried over from what I can see.
Right. So everything seems bad. There was also something I guess what we didn't know in the beta, or what we hadn't confirmed or been able to touch yet, was all the livery options and stuff like that.
Yeah, they added the 3 different classes of carriers, which are all just liveries. They don't change anything functional. It's just the way it looks.
Yeah.
And then obviously all the paint jobs, all the landing pad colors. And
it's a
I don't
massive
know.
Cool factor though.
I don't know if it's a bug, but I have the purple landing pad colors, and the 07 landing pad, the 0, the O is a purple, but the 7 is green. And if it is a bug, I hope they keep it. It is now a feature in my mind, and if they fix it, I am going to submit a bug report and complain about it.
There have been lots of games. There have been lots of games that had bugs that became features, and one that really rings true to my mind is Modern Warfare 2. There was a maneuver you could do with a throwing knife right as you pulled the trigger, if you were leaving the scope while you pulled the trigger and attempted to throw the throwing knife, your screen could tilt almost 30 degrees.
I'm not sure how that helps. Is that a
what
feature?
does that do?
Cool factor. 100% only cool factor.
So it's like the character does a dive or something.
No, he just like leans his head off to the right and that's it.
All right. Well, yeah, I mean, I full support. Like you said, if they, I think that's one of those things that's going to become part of Elite Dangerous culture. At least I hope it does. The green 07 or the green 7 anyway. It really makes the 07 stand out. It almost makes me wonder if it's intentional, if it's like an Easter egg instead of a bug.
It
Because
doesn't do it on the default color doesn't do it, and I think Roy had his set to blue, and I didn't notice the difference in color on the 7 on the blue landing pad colors. It was only the purple so far that I've seen it.
Oh man, so that does make it sound like it's just an oversight when somebody was doing up the color change, but to have it happen on the 07 is uncanny. I mean, come on.
Fix it, put it on the rest of them. That's what I say.
Right. I just mean, 07, like the salute and stuff. I would put it on the rest of the colors. That's what you're saying. I understand. I had a moment of stupid there for a second.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure the 07 is definitely a part of the game now because I've had multiple stations tell me upon approach 07 Commander or when I'm leaving or something. So it's in game. They know.
They've put it in the voice, and well, yeah, I would for sure. And if this was an oversight, it's just the best kind. And I really hope they end up leaving it. And like you said, add it to the rest of the colors. That would be the best bug fix. Make it so the 7 is always green, no matter what. So that would be fun. So one of the things we were doing with the fleet carriers last night was the wild tritium market stuff. Basically, there's such a big variation in the buying and selling prices at different stations that I logged on to find that everybody had parked their fleet carriers in whichever station seemed to have the lowest sell price, and they were all just loading up, offering to pay a healthy profit on top of that. And we ran enough loads to fill up everyone's carrier that was around, and actually ran a couple of loads over to a station, and the profit from like one drop was like 37 million or something on a Type 9.
Yeah, that's what I was getting.
I mean, I'm inclined to finish this podcast and go do some more of that, I guess. And I'm sure that the tick has changed which system it is, but still.
It's still the same.
Really?
Yeah, it held on through that tick.
I wonder if it has something to do with that system state. What is it, Blight? I wonder if that has anything to do with the cheap price.
Oh, maybe. Okay. Well, I guess I know what I'm doing after I finish this. But
I think there's even higher prices out there. So if we really wanted to, we could take a fleet carrier to the low sell, fill it, and then take it to the ones. I think 85,000 is the highest price I saw, but that was a medium landing pad. So I think closer to 65 or 70 is what I saw for a large landing pad. But that's still that's a huge gain in price. I could make close to 1 billion credits if I brought my whole fleet carrier full over there.
Right. And just that's the point of picking somewhere inside of, 30 or 40 light years just for the speed of it on a regular ship on like a Type 9 or something. But wow. I wonder kind of how intentional that is, because we had theorized having this be this commodity sort of specifically for essentially being able to trade money between commanders, and right out of the gates.
There were people in the system, people that don't have money for fleet carriers. They were asking left and right, like, "Hey, who's paying at least 35?" And they were just itching to dump off tritium to people's fleet carriers.
Yeah, that's really something. So, I I don't need to drag this out if that's all there is to talk about. I mean, they look very cool. I think I love the livery stuff. I honestly I'm much more. I was pretty at peace with not being able to afford one. It's not like I can afford one now, and I'm not about to go mine 6 billion credits or whatever right now. But it does give me this. There is this extra sheen to it. It was a little bit more special, to see them with the colors and the body kits and stuff that are on them. It really added a lot of excitement to it, kind of, for me, even though I'm not an owner and not not really planning to be in the foreseeable future. But that seems to be. Is there anything else you guys can think of to add to that?
Nothing I can think of to add, directly to that.
Yeah. All right. So, hey, why don't you catch us up on what's going on with the faction? Did we finally have our BGS tick?
We have had 2 ticks since Tuesday update. 2.1 ticks, and we still haven't expanded. But that does give us some additional time to do some background manipulation. Pardon me, English are hard. In the bumper system, we're working for the V740 of Cassiopeia Future in the bumper system, so we can attempt to break up the assets that the bumper purple party has. So when we come in there, we can only have the one war with each relevant faction as we climb the ladder in order to get all of the assets in the system.
Oh, I see. So, you're trying. Okay. I think I understand. So currently, yeah. So we have a standing orders channel now in Discord where it looks like the old orders are being deleted and replaced each day. So it's extremely not confusing. Is that right?
I'm working really hard on making sure that it is not confusing.
Well, that's what I've seen. It seems to be working well. So that's all well and good. I'm clicking on the Inara thing here, and I see, well, of course, it's sorted by our rank, so I see myself very high right up on the top, but that's not because I'm doing the most or anywhere close to the most for as far as for our faction is concerned. So do you want to call out any particularly supportive commanders or anything like that?
Pepper Grinder, as always, is grinding as best as he can. And I really hope that I get to add more names to Pepper Grinder. But on the Discord, we worked together to make a new role for LSN Lieutenant. And I've added both Nurgle, NPC, I believe is the characters after Nurgle, and Roy Cookson as the LSN Lieutenants. So that both the Standing Orders channel can be a little less confusing, and the work that we're doing can have 3 heads working on it to make sure that I'm not getting confused as I'm issuing the order.
Right. Yeah, I see Pepper Grinder out influencing you even with 382 on the chart right now. Is this a percent of missions compared to members' total missions completed? So this means that Pepper Grinder, 80% of the missions that they have done forever have been for our faction?
There's a certain decay period that Inara keeps the information.
Okay. I was going to say, because mine says 100. I know I've done plenty of missions for other factions before, but okay, that makes much more sense. All right, well, way to go, Pepper Grinder. Other high people up are Nurgle, of course, Roy Cookson, Data, Crash Harper, actually, real high right on the top. Dubs, not too far behind. Y'all are beating me, of course, by a mile, because you actually get to play from time to time. So anyway, thanks. I was going to just stop by and check in what was going on with the Dark Wheel stuff. I haven't been able to pay enough attention to that personally because I just got on to play for like a couple of hours one night. But for those who are interested in and participating in the Turning the Dark Wheel initiative, as of today, the 11th, we are 1 and 0 up in the election. So they're participating in an election in LFT 926. So main focus of the day remains winning the election. Complete non-violent missions for the Dark Wheel from any station in LFT 926. And then they go on to talk about how the patch seems to have thrown a couple of things a little wonky. So basically because some of the tourist beacons that were included in the POIs that were missing, the missions were a little tough to run for a little while. But that's about the story. So if you're wanting to participate, go over to LFT 926 and participate in the election for the Dark Wheel. Nonviolent missions, please. Would you guys want to talk about cheese for just a second, just in honor of Sir Chig? Cheese is fun. I don't know. What are your thoughts? Thoughts on cheese?
I like Kraft singles.
I actually made homemade nachos last night with Doritos, nacho cheese Doritos, and my wife got cans of nacho cheese and some queso blanco, and we already had some shredded cheese at the house. So we made some really cheesy, extra cheesy homemade nachos.
Yikes. I should think so. Okay, well, that's wonderful. Congratulations, Chig, if and when you listen to this. For some reason, I decided to include cheese, even though you weren't here. So there we are. Chig chat. So the other news, I've only got one other thing on my list, and that is the store-wide sale continues for delivery. Asterisk, tell me.
Lots of the cheaper items aren't actually on sale. They're at their regular price.
Oh, really? So the 30% off store-wide doesn't include stuff that's already cheap?
Right.
Fleet carrier. Nothing on the fleet carrier livery showed as being on sale for me.
Oh. Well,
but I mean, I don't know
a little bit.
I don't know. Is this the normal price? Is it not? There was no discount icon, but they were fairly expensive.
Everything I saw showed the original price and then what the discounted price was. So if you didn't see two prices, I don't think it was on sale. That's kind of okay.
I mean,
the sale started before the update. But
yeah, I went ahead and bought some Covises with it. So
right. Oh, those are big money too.
Yeah,
I actually bought my first ship kit because those have generally been too expensive for my blood. But I went ahead and because you had passively convinced me to rebuy a Chieftain. Really, I buy a second Chieftain. I don't sell ships like the Chieftain, but. To build a second Chieftain that is not set up for anti-Xeno. So I went ahead and got Chieftain ship kit stuff, and we'll be playing with that the next time. First time I've actually bought any of those ship kit pieces. I've always just got paint up till now. So, but let's see. So, there was one other thing that I almost forgot. So, Commander Grover Kiwi had a lovely idea for a mini expedition. So this is going to be the Matariki Tiki Tour mini expedition. So Matariki is a cluster of 9 stars that signifies the Maori New Year. That's the indigenous people to New Zealand, where Commander Grover Kiwi is from, somewhat obviously. And so this is sort of a guided planting cycle as part of the Maori calendar. And they also happen to be known throughout the rest of the world as the Pleiades or the Seven Sisters. So Matariki holds special significance for the Maori people today as an example of the reclamation of indigenous knowledge and traditions. So he's setting up an expedition. There is a sign-up form similar to the way I kind of got Distant Screws started, probably because he asked me how to do it. And that's probably why it's coming out the same way. So there's a Google Forms. There's a link in our events channel. It'll also be in the show notes. And as per typical, we basically just need to gather 10 or more participants, and then take it over EDSM and get it to be a recognized expedition with a badge and everything. He told me he's working on a graphic, which is also needed. And I mean, the Pleiades is not particularly far away. This will be something that many of us can do pretty much in one play session, I would expect. But we'll see what the route looks like. And I'm planning to be involved somehow. It seems kind of like aligning hours of the day with New Zealand to North America is going to be absolutely insane, but who knows? Who knows as far as kind of participating live or doing any kind of stream or something like that. But I have threatened the idea, so I guess we'll see. So I just wanted to invite everyone listening to come sign up. It'll be a quick little thing. If you've never done an expedition before, this will be fairly simple. We'll try to look at the route and plan ahead of time what the minimum jump distance would be, since we are heading away from Galactic Center and not toward it. I guess that would be a little bit of a concern, but I don't remember anything about low star density in that general area. I've been to the Pleiades a few times now. Do you guys know anything?
I do know that we have some new in-game assets that could be very helpful with that.
Yeah, okay. That's true. So, it's so funny. I'm still not used to it enough to have kind of come up with that on my own. Yeah, I'm thinking about, rescue ships, or if somebody gets stranded on a particular platform. But even if we did need to rescue somebody cross-platform, all we need to do is jump a fleet carrier right to their system, and they could totally refuel or just climb on board, and then it can jump them away. Yeah, wow. That's fabulous.
Mr. Dubs here and, Tierville both have their fleet carriers in our Bumber system that only has small landing pads. And today, Data took advantage of there being large landing pads less than a light minute away from the station. He grabbed some kill missions, got on the fleet carrier, got into a much bigger combat ship, and then went to where the bad guys were.
Yeah, all right. Well, the game is changing already. Sounds really good. So, okay, well, no worries then. Hey, everybody, if you've never done an expedition before, you should come. We'll make sure there's no risk. We'll park a rescue carrier wherever one might be needed, take any small ship, and take an E-rated Cobra for all I care. That'd be funny. If you do that, please let me know. I would like that very much. Okay. Is there anything else? Is this going to be the shortest Loose Screws ever?
It's longer than the missing episode.
That is true.
Definitely true. Well, thanks you guys for helping me fill this little hole. I hope you all appreciate a 30-minute long episode to make up for the alternative was not have one. So I hope everyone's having fun with fleet carriers and whatever else. Let's go trade some tritium. What do you say?
Sounds like a plan to me.
Do it.
All right. Thanks. We'll see you all next week.